All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, Lamar Jackson met with the media for the first time since the end of last season, and this press conference was something special because we knew they were going to constantly talk about this contract extension. That was going to be the main focus of this press conference. We knew it was coming, and Lamar specifically knew it was coming because he was ready. This might be my favorite press conference Lamar has ever had because he handled those contract questions like a pro. It was so good, I took notes. And I'm going to do something different here. Normally, I just kind of speak and recap some of the things, but instead, let's talk about the questions and the answers. I'm going to read the questions and read Lamar's responses for the most part. I took as much as I can. It's like 6 pages worth because it was a lot for like, a 6 or 7 minutes press conference. So we're just going to go at it and we'll see where we get here. So, first off, first thing they asked Lamar, what was the reason you didn't go to OTAs? And his response was basically, I just wanted to stay away and grind. I wanted to come back and see how I felt. I feel good. I asked my guys if I could stay home and they said, cool. Chemistry's going to be there in camp, so I was trying to grind. Also, the absence was not contract related because they tried to ask about that. He said, nah. So, as we thought, he stood away to work on his game with his personal coach, which we all knew. Apparently, the media didn't know that. They thought it was a contract-related situation, but we all knew that was the case. Moving on. Do you plan to have a conversation about the contract? We did. We're just keeping it private. We had a conversation this week. Yeah, they asked him if they had a conversation, if Lamar had a conversation or does he plan to, and he said, yeah, we had a conversation when I got into the building at some point this week, earlier this week, probably. I'm not going to estimate when, but this week they did have a conversation about his contract. So, yes, contract talks have now resumed, apparently, and they started this week. So that's a good thing to hear. They're still in the talk for an extension. We'll see how that goes. Do you plan to spend the rest of your career in Baltimore? I expect so. Yes, I do. That was the next question. Glad to see Lamar still has the same focus. Like I said, he's always wanted to stay in Baltimore. Baltimore is the place he wants to be. He wants to win a Super Bowl here. He wants to spend his whole career here. He has said this on multiple occasions, and he continues to express this, so I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Next question. The national media say they wouldn't step on the field without a deal. Do you buy into that? I don't buy into that. I play football. That's what I'm here for. That's a perfect question. They keep trying to push this narrative that Lamar Jackson is not going to play without a contract or he shouldn't play without a contract. When Lamar's just focused on playing football, he's not worried about a contract right now. That's not his main focus. The good news is they're talking about it now, so maybe they get a deal done before training camp. Who knows? But they are in contract talk. So the conversation has been, struck, and they'll be discussing it. Hopefully we'll see some progress with that. Do you feel you're worthy of a contract? Yeah, I do. I still want that Super Bowl, but I do feel like I'm worthy of a contract. This question was related to, I believe, what our owner, Steve Biscotti, was talking about and saying that, Lamar may not feel he's worthy of a contract without getting a Super Bowl to Baltimore. But yeah, Lamar believes he's worthy of a contract, but he also wants that Super Bowl. But he still does believe he's worthy of a contract, which is cool. How much did Deshaun Watson's contract affect your thought about your future? Nothing at all. Didn't affect it at all. Because they tried to ask about the Deshaun Watson contract, which a lot of people have speculated could be the main reason as to why Lamar hasn't been talking about or discussing any contracts with the Ravens. People were feeling that the Ravens have been lowballing Lamar with his contract, and he's like, nah. But that's not the case for the most part. Deshaun Watson's contract has not affected his mindset or thought about his contract at all. He's not worried about what anyone else is getting. He's worried about his own situation, so that's good to hear. We saw the workout videos that you were putting out there, and you seem to have gained muscle. Do you feel that you're stronger, more faster? I don't even know what that means. Do you feel like you're stronger and faster? I think so. I feel pretty good. So that was a question related to all the workout videos we've been seeing Lamar put out there and him gaining muscle. And they asked him, does he feel stronger? Does he feel faster? And he's like, yeah, I feel stronger. I feel faster. Next question. What did you get out of the last 3 days? We moving. Guys came to work. Simple as that. What did you got out of the last 3 days? Guys came to work. Chemistry seems to be going well. Everyone's making moves and everyone's progressing well. Everything seems to be moving in the right direction for the Ravens. That's what you like to hear. When did you know Hollywood would get traded? Now, this was an interesting one. Lamar pretty much went into it and said, we had a conversation about it. I believe him and Coach Harbaugh had a conversation about it. We had a conversation about them trading Hollywood, but I didn't think it was going to happen. when it did happen, I was like, what the, man, it's all good. It's part of the business. So yeah, he also made sure to clarify that the tweet that he put out, when the WTF tweet he put out on draft night, was directed towards the Hollywood Brown trade. More specifically, the fact that Hollywood Brown was already in Arizona, like, that surprised him. So the people that thought it was to Linderbaum because he didn't like the pick, that's not the case. Because again, when they asked Lamar what do they need to fix, he said offensive line. So he's fine with Linderbaum. There's no problems there. The tweet was directed towards Hollywood already being in Arizona. That kind of put him, that surprised him as a whole. Next question. How much have you changed your mechanics? Because this is related to the improvements we've seen in Lamar's mechanics and his throwing ability. Obviously, he's not really throwing ducks anymore. We're seeing spirals. So his response to that was, I didn't really change my mechanics. My coach just helped sharpen me up and make sure my lower body is doing what it needs. My lower body is in the right position for me to be most effective. So basically, yeah, he's just talking about him and his coach just working on his mechanics and sharpening it up, as opposed to him changing anything. So it's pretty much the same thing. It's just he sharpened up some of his mechanics and it's helping him be more effective. He also did mention the fact that this has helped him throw more spirals as opposed to the ducks he was throwing early on, because he made a joke about that. That was cool. Is it hard to tune out the noise in the national media? Nah, sometimes it be clickbait. I just want to be myself. I don't want to be the next guy. I look at myself as Lamar Jackson. This was pretty much going into his, this was focusing on the national media as a whole. I've constantly discussed it here on this channel about how they constantly focus on pushing narratives about Lamar Jackson and his contract situation, or him potentially wanting to leave Baltimore, or his ability to throw, or can he really be this guy. They constantly push narratives about Lamar, and Lamar's not focused on it. He just wants to be himself. He's not trying to be Brady. He also did say that he wants to have the rings like Brady, but he also wants to be himself, which is good to hear. Are you betting on yourself? This is a question that a lot of the people in the media believe he's betting on himself. But Lamar really, again, he's just focused on playing ball. Nah, I haven't thought about that at all. I'm just playing ball. That was his response. Clear as day. Did Hollywood relay his frustrations with the offense to you? Not really. Most of the time, we just be partying in the car. Like, he was talking about them, pretty much just hanging out and chilling and partying, because this was in relation to the fact that Lamar and Hollywood, back when Hollywood was still here, they always, showed up to the game together. So the media wanted to know if there was ever a moment where Hollywood was just relaying his frustrations of the offense to him. And Lamar's like, nah, we don't really talk about that when we hang out. We kind of just be chilling. We be partying, listening to music in the car and stuff. And nah, we don't really be discussing that. So yeah, didn't seem like Hollywood was really relaying any frustrations of the offense to Lamar specifically. Here's another one. Would you prefer to have a contract done by the end of the year? Is in conversation. Man, Lamar Jackson with the "it's in conversation" quote, that right there, he pulled that out. I'm not joking. There was some questions where I just said, I'm not going to put it here because it was a continued question of his contract, and Lamar was saying, we're in a conversation right now. We're having conversations about it. It was like a Russell Westbrook. It was great execution, We did a good job executing. That's basically what Lamar did to the media. It was fantastic. Speaking of that, oh wait, no, not that one. That's the following question. I'm gonna skip that. It's the same answer where they asked about this contract, and he's like, it's in the conversation. Next up, how have you and Rashad Bateman been building a connection? The chemistry was there off bat. We met up earlier in the offseason. It's not just Rashad, but him and Prochet met up with Lamar back in California, and they just went to work. So yeah, the chemistry has been there off bat. So that's pretty much all you have to say about that. How much muscle did you add? This is an interesting question because obviously we've seen Lamar has buffed up. He's got more muscle. You can see his shoulders are definitely bigger. He's just bigger as a whole. And his response to that was, usually when I'm playing, my weight was around 205 to 208. I'm 220 right now. I wanted to see how it would feel, and I feel good right now. So right now, Lamar is 220. He was usually playing around somewhere between 205 and 208 in the season, but he's put on a lot of muscle, and he's at 220 right now. Don't know if he's going to keep that, because, once training camp starts, it's just going to start to whittle down. So we'll see if he keeps that muscle, but, it is what it is. Oh, this is another one too. Will you be at training camp and play week 1 if you don't have a contract extension? And Lamar's response was basically, man, it's in the works right now with the contract extension. I don't really know. I have nothing to really say about that right now. It's just, it's in conversation. So they continue to ask him about this, and Lamar wasn't going for it. Legitimately, Lamar wasn't going for it. Oh, this is a great question. How eager are you to get back on the field, and what are your expectations? This is something that's really going to stick out to Ravens flock, because his response made a lot of people believe, oh man, this might be the year, man. He might be going off too. First thing he made sure to express was, I feel better than 2019. I'll say that. Sorry, I feel better than oh my God, I'm messing up that question. My writing's terrible. I was rushing, man. That was a long press conference and my hand was hurting, but his response was, I feel better than 2019. I'll say that. I'm very eager for this season. Yeah, that was pretty much it for that. So yeah, he says he feels better than 2019. And of course, in 2019, he won MVP. So second MVP coming for Lamar Jackson? Maybe. We'll see. Was there a reason you didn't want to talk about a contract extension earlier on in the offseason? This is relating to the fact that we heard reports that the Ravens said it's all up to Lamar. They reached out about a contract, but Lamar didn't seem ready at the time, so they said they were going to go at his pace. And the media was asking, well, was there a reason why you didn't want to talk about it earlier? Lamar's response was, I was away and I wanted to grind. Simple as that. He was busy on improving his mechanics and getting stronger, that he was not focused on the contract like we all believed. But, the media is thinking, oh, it's a holdout, or, Lamar didn't like whatever they threw at it, whatever contract, whatever extension, whatever number they threw at him. That's what they believe it was. But no, he was just away. He was focused on improving. That was just it. How do you feel about the new tight ends they added? His response was, those guys look nice. Sky's the limit for them. Pretty much all you got to say. He was going more in depth about how they were making some tough catches, and these rookies are definitely making plays out there. But really, his overall response was that they look nice and that the sky's the limit for them. Oh, nice question. Impressions of Linderbaum. What do you think about your rookie center? And Lamar's response for that was, the chemistry is great between us right now. He's really fast for a center. Well, he said he's fast as heck for a center. That's the direct quote. He's fast as heck for a center. But yeah, chemistry seems to be great for them. And he was talking about how he threw a pick in practice yesterday, and Linderbaum was like trying to chase it down. He was like, man, he's really fast for a center. Oh, this is a question related to after, Lamar's injury and him recovering and him getting back. When did you feel you were ready to be able to play again? And Lamar said, right after the Super Bowl. Right after the Super Bowl, I felt ready to be able to move around again, and I started to go to work, which we saw shortly after the Super Bowl. He was back out there throwing again. How do you plan to spend the next month? Response, easy. Get with the guys, watch film, and build our chemistry even more. Football season's here. That was pretty much the last question there for the most part. Lamar's press conference was very interesting, went in depth into his contract in terms of we're in conversations. That's as deep as we're going to get into that discussion. They want to keep everything private, or at least Lamar wants to keep everything private. So that's a good thing. They also asked him about his restaurant play action, which was cool. But other than that, yeah, it was a lot of talk about his contract, a lot of talk about his mechanics, a lot of talk about how he feels about, hit the certain guys out here, some of the rookies he's seeing, his center. A lot of talks about what he was doing in the offseason, just the usual. But what was awesome about this press conference was how Lamar handled it. He was very poised. He's pretty much got this whole situation on lockdown. They tried to throw so many contract bombs at him, and he did not flinch. And that's what I love to see. There was some other things that were definitely discussed here, but this was only the focus on Lamar, so I probably will be making a follow-up video about any other things that was said during the press conference, maybe from Rashad, Bateman, or whoever else was speaking, because yeah, this was just the focus on Lamar's whole response and Lamar's whole press conference. But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. It was very interesting writing that down. I felt like a student again, but it is what it is. Anyway, that's all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.